Okay, let's talk prong collars. One of the first things we do with clients is get them off of the harness. There's a lot of harnesses out there. Problem with the harness is it harnesses the dog's strength, it creates a propulsion effect, and it encourages pulling. They're supposed to pull on a harness. So, prong collars, they look medieval and they look horrific, but you can see from video after video after video, we kind of stopped filming after a couple of years because harnesses pull. Doesn't matter if it's a front pull, a side pull, a backwards pull, upside down pull, they pull. It doesn't matter where you attach it. So let's look at it. We only use Herm Sprenger. That is the originator of the prong collar. And we only use two sizes. We use the 2.25 millimeter, that's the smaller one. And we use a 3 millimeter. Okay? So when it comes to size, you're looking at the size of the links. Okay? Each link on this collar here. Now, you can always add more links to make a 2.25 millimeter for a bigger neck, right? You just add more links to it. So let's talk breeds. Anything from a shepherd, a golden doodle, a golden retriever, a husky, a mastiff, a Great Dane, lab, you name it, they're all going to be on 3 millimeter size collars. Some of the smaller dogs, maybe your poodles, puppies that quite haven't matured to a 3 millimeter size. You may see that on short hair being like a Weimaraner or Pointer, but typically it's 3 millimeter size lengths. You don't need to go any bigger than that. You don't need a 4, you don't need a 3.2. You need 3 millimeter. So the way that they come with this plate in the front. It's designed to direct the links or the prongs away from the trachea, right? Okay, so the problem with prong collars is you have to pinch the prongs to put them together. That's where that term pinch collar comes from. It's not pinching your dog, but it gives a sensation to the dog that should be uncomfortable. That's what they should do. So, in order to pinch the link to take the prong collar apart, right, you will squeeze the top here while pushing down on the other, right? So you're going to squeeze slightly and take it apart. Now, when you pinch it to put it together, you want to pinch it as close to the edge as possible and put it through both holes at the same time. Okay? What you can't do is you can't start at one hole, sweep it to the next, right? So you'll end up forcing it, you'll spread the actual prong itself, and it'll become too tight or too loose. That's not what you want. All right, so we squeeze, we put it in there just like that. Now let's talk about the plate. The plate redirects away from the trachea. In theory, it's a good concept, to the point where a company that we work with, it's Katie's Buckles. She designed something because while the 2.25 millimeter is pretty easy to pinch, the 3 millimeter is more difficult. Okay, so if you have any dexterity problems, you just don't have the strength in your hands, she has designed this. Okay, very simple buckle. Squeeze the tabs, it comes right apart. All right, the same concept as the plate. Redirects away from the trachea. And so now people can properly fit a prong collar. What we found was clients would try to put this onto a dog with a 12-inch neck, and it hangs down low at the collarbone. That's not where you want it. You want it as high as possible, just underneath the ears and at the jawbone. All right, those are very sensitive pressure points. and that's what you want the links actually to touch. All right. So, like anything, make sure it's secure, right? One time and only once did we have this buckle fail, and the buckle didn't fail, but the person didn't quite put it on all the way. So when the dog jumped and we stepped back, it came apart. All right. Make sure it's fastened well, like anything. Okay, so the 2.25 millimeter buckle is just a little bit different. It does not come with the links on it. However, you can pinch and squeeze and remove from the buckle itself as an addition. Katie's Buckles also sells the entire setup. So if you're not getting one from us, if you're learning about training remotely through Patreon likely, you can order through Katie. Until we get set up to where we're selling products and shipping them, that's a good place to get them. Of course, you know, for other equipment, we'll discuss that as well as to where you can get the other equipment. All right, one more thing here. This is going to be important. Where do you attach the leash, right? Okay, so you'll see two rings here. One is a circle, and one is shaped more like a D. All right, one has a chain that fits on either side like this. Okay, one has this little loop that the chain connects to. All right, the best way I can describe it is look for the loop that has the name brand of the collar. All right, that's what you want to look for. That's what you attach your leash to. That's it. This secondary ring, okay, that is to make sure it's a safety so that it stops, so it doesn't just tighten to infinity. All right, for fit, you should be able to move the collar just barely by just turning it. All right, I mean, these links are pretty big. They're 1.5 inches likely, so you might be in between sizes. Do the best you can to get it fit, but it should sit high. When you go to remote collar, the receiver on that strap will keep your prong collar up higher. Okay, it should be prong collar, remote collar, and then a name tag collar. All right. So when you start introducing the prong collar, it's important to use distance. We'll link some videos in addition to this to show exactly how you'll let the dog take the entire length of the leash. And I mean a standard 4 or 6 foot leash, right? Let the dog go into leash pressure, and it should be uncomfortable, right? The prong collar should do this. Don't let them run to the extension because there's going to be more force at the end. Let them walk gradually, and when they get to the end, it should be uncomfortable. But understand, a 4 to 6 foot leash plus the length of your arm, you know, that's quite a bit of distance between you and the dog. And being that far away should engage the collar, and it should be uncomfortable, okay? An uncomfortable sensation is punishment. Punishment is to discourage behavior. Do not lead me down the road. I want you to follow or be with me, right? If you go too far out, consequence, uncomfortable sensation, and then through other videos we'll show you how we're redirecting them to come back to us. Now, coming back to us makes the collar loose, makes it comfortable, and they should want to repeat any type of comfortable behavior because that's reinforcement. Reinforcement encourages, right? So, once more, as your dog wears this, okay, and the leash engages, the leash will engage like this. What's important too is that audible sound there, the chain that runs smoothly on this particular brand, because not all prong collars are made the same. That sound, right, it's very similar to just saying no, and then consequences given for being too far away. All right, that's punishment, right? Down the road in training, you'll be able to simply pull the leash slightly. The sound will be right there by the ears, and you get your dog's attention by just moving it an inch or so. And they should come right back to you. All right, I hope that helps to get you started. One of the very first things we do, like I said, is take dogs off of those harnesses. Additionally, when you start using remote collar, we get this question a lot. Why do we need a prong collar and a remote collar at the same time? You want to give a very clear message. Okay, we start with leash skills. We start with a prong collar. You go too far ahead, consequence, and you come back. If you go back to a harness, and the harness says yes when you pull on it because it's energizing your dog and propelling them forward, if you've used a harness, everybody knows that's what happens. But you push the button on the remote to stop behavior, the dog's confused. It's either whining its butt and scratching its watch, it doesn't know what to do, right? So make it very, very clear. And you'll see in videos, you'll see an audible cue as the dog goes ahead. You say no. The prong collar itself engages, saying no for you with an uncomfortable sensation. You can guide the dog back to you through movement drills, and then it's comfortable again. Go away from me, uncomfortable. Come back to me, comfortable. All right, so when I make a turn, she's going to go into punishment, which is the leash is taut, and the collar does this, correct?
Yeah.
Let her get away from you. And here's what I'm talking about. No. Change your direction. Stay right there for me. All right. You want to go forge ahead so much, and that's reinforcement to her. That's rewarding. She wants to do that. I've taken it away.
Okay.
Dog's approach. We're not going to go forging ahead.
Yeah.
All right. So again, here it is. No. Bring her on back. This turn is like resetting the mind. All right, what you're going to find is, see, she checks in with me a little bit saying, well, why do we keep doing this? We keep doing this because you're pulling me.
Yeah.
There's consequence to pulling, okay? There's no consequence if you're right here with me. However, no. Just a stroller going by or something?
Yeah.
All right, get her back in with a turn. All right. Turn away from her, and then everything just falls in line.
Okay.
Okay? If you turn into her, you end up in a big knot. So here's a little bit of a pull. No. Did I pull or did she? I just stood still, right?
Yeah.
Okay. It's going to get to the point where she's going to get sick of this. We're going to lay a remote collar onto this as well.
Okay.
If I am pulling and pulling and pulling right here,
Yeah.
I'm associated to it.
Right.
More so than if she is 6 to 8 feet away from me. All right? If she opposes it and she bites the leash, who's holding the leash? Right next to her.
Yeah.
All right. So your opposition is pretty normal for a dog that's feisty like yours. Here we go again. Well, see this pulling? This is not acceptable. No. You can get her right back into a heel. You can do it like this if you like. Go right back. Find your leash. And here we are again. Okay. The more that you do this, you're going to be able to say no. Okay? I know I'm close in there, but what did I do? I did a little snap of the wrist to say knock it off.
Right.
Okay? But we don't know each other too well yet. So I let her get to the end.
Okay.
When it happens and she's 8 feet away, she has to come back to me for negative reinforcement. Reinforcement is to encourage behavior, right? Okay, so here it is. We have punishment when she gets to the end. No. Why is she being so easy about it now? What do you think?
Getting tired of it. I mean,
She's getting tired of it, yeah.